Hi, we've teamed up with UK Auto Claims to see if you could be eligible to score thousands in compensation. If you've had any cars, vans or motorbikes on finance between 2007 and 2021, go to ukautoclaims.co.uk to start your free simple check. Loads of you will have overpaid and payouts could be worth thousands, so you've got to look into it. Hit up the link below and check now for free. Hi and welcome along to the Invincible podcast with my man Lee Judges, the judge in the building. How you doing, brother?
Yeah, all good, all good. You're back. You're back. You've been jet setting again, I see.
Work, man. I was at work.
Work? It didn't look like work to me, I'll tell you, like, you know what I mean? Like, you and Cecil, loved up you was, like, on the old boats and all that, like, you know what I mean? It looked very, like, very romantic, the pair of you, like, you know what I mean?
Is that what you're getting at? Yeah, it's brilliant, man. Over there in Cannes. It's what it is, right?
Yeah, what was it? Well, like some speech things or something, wasn't it?
So what it is, it's like a business thing, right? So what it is, you get all the big. The particular thing I was there for is a thing called sports speech. So on that sports speech, it's like a conference, and you have like loads of people talking on it. So Ian Wright was talking.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah.
Emma Hayes. Lots of footballers. Then, in particular, I had a lot of American sports because it's predominantly American sports. So, you had a lot of NBA basketball players, NFL players, NHL. Wow. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And then there's lots of businesses that work in football and work in sports there. So that's the main reason for being there. And then, of course,
you can.
Yeah, and then Google and YouTube are there. They have a beach part, and so did Spotify, TikTok. They're all there. All the big companies are all there, and basically they're having all these conferences going on, Marriott Hotel, all that, right? And it's brilliant. So it's a real great networking event. And then in the evenings they have parties, right? And I'll tell you, those parties are unreal. Right, it's all free drink, free food, and it's just you'd be on a yacht. That yacht that there was one night we was on a yacht with DJ AG, big up AG, big Arsenal fan. That was brilliant. And then there was another night we went to get on his yacht, and we got there a bit late, so it's packed. So they can only let a certain amount of people on it, health and safety wise. And we were just walking down the sort of the harbour thing. And this guy comes over to me and he goes, you come off this massive yacht. And he goes, you do AFTV. I'm an Arsenal fan. I love AFTV. And I said, thanks, right? And he goes, what are you up to? I said, well, we went to get on the yacht up there, but it's a bit busy, so we're just going to walk back into the town. He goes, come up on our yacht. Wow. And that was saying about 11 o'clock, right? About 4 a.m, we're still on there drinking, everything free, right? They'd sailed over from Monaco to meet some clients. Wow, it's another world, man. Wow. That yacht had a jacuzzi on it. Honestly, Lee, I'll tell you, I didn't want to come off. It was unreal. Absolutely unbelievable. Luxury yachts, man. You just see how the other half live, man. It's just unbelievable. But there were some great people over there, great hospitality. I was in a club in VIP with Mary J. Blige.
I see that,
I couldn't believe it. I was like, I used to worship this woman when I was younger, man. Seeing her just there, like Ludacris, Timbaland, 50 Cent was there the night before I went, but I missed that because I went to a charity event the night before that. The guys who run Brighton.
Cool.
Yeah, they kept that event. Really good event. They're raising money for multiple sclerosis. So it's a table tennis event. It was really good.
I'll see that. Your table tennis needs to sharpen up.
I know, man. I used to be good at table tennis. I used to be good at table tennis back in the day, man. And because you haven't played it for so long.
Yeah, you got.
So you know what it was, right? My serve is still good, but just returning.
Coordination,
I was after it. I was like, I want to start playing table tennis. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
I like to, but when you play against some real good table tennis, there's certainly can't get the serve back.
Right. There was some guy there, right? He was in our team as well, right? Right, and nobody could get his serve back.
Yeah, I know, it's unreal.
You know, one of these guys who throw it up like that, and he's just like spinning all out. He was brilliant.
You hit it and it goes over there, like.
Yeah. What have you been up to?
No, a lot been. It was obviously like a year since Kevin passed away this week, so or last week. So went to a family do that they put on yesterday, which was really good. Yeah. So, and just remembering Kevin and all that, like, and big up to the foundation.
It's mad, isn't it?
Big up to the foundation because since the year that he's passed, they've just gone over £50,000 they've raised in his memory. Incredible. So that was brilliant. And also last night, Laundry's sister announced that they're going to have a memorial statue in South London for him,
fantastic.
That, which is like. Going to be fantastic, like,
Yeah, so, that's to go to that, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely go to that, like, and when that's unveiled, we'll definitely go. So it's very like makes you very humble and proud. Also that where his local park was and all that, the foundation is, along with the Premier League, are going to be resurfacing the pitches and all that, and they're going to be naming them the Kevin Campbell pitches as well. Like,
that's brilliant. So, great legacy.
So it was a great event. A sad event, like, you know what I mean? Because Kevin should be there really, but his family are such wonderful people, and keeping the legacy going and all that. So that was a really good thing. Like,
that was good. Well, on the football front, we may as well, because there hasn't been. Well, actually, no. Tell a lie. There's a lot of activity going on now. You know what I mean? Like Christian Norgard.
Yeah.
Joining Arsenal. You know what I mean? Like Thomas Partey. Obviously, they were trying to get that deal done. It hasn't happened. I think the problem with that Thomas Partey thing right from the beginning has been, number one, the length of contract. I know for a fact, and I've known this for quite a while, that his people were looking for 2 years. They wanted a 2-year deal. Arsenal really only wanted to give him 1 year. You can understand it. He's had a long history of injuries, and he's on a lot of money. You know what I mean? He's on a couple $100,000 a week. They want to do like one, maybe one and an option to another one. He wanted 2. And I get his side as well. You know what I mean? What is he, 32? It's your last big contract. He's having offers left, right and centre elsewhere. You can understand why he'd be going for a longer contract. It hasn't worked out. He's moved on. Christian Norgard coming in. I think it makes perfect sense. You know what I mean? What, you're not...
Now, listen, I've got nothing against the player. I don't think that he's a bad player and all that. Like, but where I am at this is he? We're at a stage where we need players where the needle's got to move. And he's not a needle mover. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but the needle mover is Zubimendi. So Zubimendi is coming in that defensive...
Zubimendi is
a needle mover.
Is he a needle mover? Is he better than Thomas Partey? Is he on...
Well, he's the most... Zubimendi was the most sought after defensive midfielder in Europe. That's the player that people have been after, right? Liverpool wanted him.
Yeah.
Real Madrid wanted him. Arsenal wanted him. Arsenal have got him, right? That shows you the calibre of the player. He's won the Euros with Spain. He's a Spanish regular in that team now. He's a top player. So he's the guy, younger version, 26, who's coming in to replace Thomas Partey. Partey's 32. So
I get that.
So, it's hard when you're a defensive midfielder, because a lot of people don't consider defensive midfielders, needle movers, but it's a very, very important position. And then it makes perfect sense to bring in Christian Norgard.
Why?
Because Christian Norgard is what Jorginho will be. So Jorginho was the backup, wasn't he? Right? And Jorginho was very experienced, good player still, right?
I thought we'd done a fantastic job for us.
So Christian Norgard is a very underrated player. He doesn't come on our radar because he plays for Brentford. But if you speak to Brentford fans, they will say he's a really, really good player, very, very important player for them, right? And if you actually look at his stats, they're right up there with the best.
I've got no problem with that. My problem.
So you seem to be. You started moan already.
My problem with it is, right, I don't like say it's a problem. I'm put fans turn around and go, it's very, very good business.
It is.
Right? Is it? For what right, all of a sudden, like,
10
I'll tell you why
million.
It would be good business if I go into the Emirates next week and my hamburger will be £14 instead of £17. That's good business because of that. That's what I'm saying. It's not business. I don't think that we've strengthened our side or our squad. Now, why?
Why?
I'll tell you why. This is what I would have done, right? And what I wanted to see. I want to see game changers at this football club.
Right.
5 years into the process, I don't want to see stopgaps like Norgardi's, like what Jorginho was 2 years ago, which, by the way, was a good 2 years ago.
Right. You moaned about that as well.
Yeah, well, look, at the end of the day, listen, we wanted to get Caicedo, right? We couldn't get Caicedo.
Got Declan Rice.
In the January, and we went and got Jorginho as a makeshift, then went and got Declan Rice. So you look at that, but I'm at the stage now where, why couldn't we have gone, right, okay, Thomas Partey's going, we're bringing in Zubimendi, let's bring in, I don't know, a Morgan Rogers or someone else as a game changer.
Not a defensive midfielder.
Yeah, hold on, right? But your defensive midfielder then, if Zubimendi's not playing, is Declan Rice.
No, but he doesn't want to play Declan Rice there no more. He wants to push Declan Rice further forward.
Well, I'm sorry.
So last year, right, the defensive midfielder was Thomas Partey, right? And if anything happened to Partey, right, or you wanted to rest Partey, it was Jorginho. Now, both of them have left. They've both come to the end of their contracts. Yeah. They're both, to be fair to both of them, knocking on a bit, right? They're both getting a bit older. Now he's brought in a younger, more dynamic player who's playing at defensive midfielder, who's a top player in Zubimendi. And because Partey's leaving now, he's thinking, right, who can I get? I know they looked at I forgot his name now, but he's a player at Sevilla, younger player. But then he's obviously looked at him and thought, no, what I want if for Zubimendi's going to come, he's going to, even though he's got a great reputation, going to have to grow into the league. Norgard, experienced player. Great stats, he's number one in interceptions, number one, I think number 2 in tackles, one. More of a different sort of defensive midfielder to say a Partey, and that he sits and shields, a bit like what Jorginho does, sits in front of that back four and shields it. He's Premier League ready, the captain of Brentford, experienced player, 31. Makes perfect sense. What's he moaning about?
I'm not saying that doesn't make perfect sense, but what
are you moaning about? I don't get you.
I'm saying at the end of the day, I want a bit better than that. I don't want a 31-year-old player now. You've got Zubimendi.
Yeah,
but what happens if this is what? Then you've got Norgard. This is the argument that we've got at this moment. We've got Juventus on Saturday. We've got Liverpool on Saturday, and we've got Juventus on Tuesday, or whatever. What I want to bring is I don't want. We've got to play Declan Rice and we've got to play Zubimendi for both of those games. You know what I mean? What I want is, it doesn't really matter. He comes in and
play Norgard. He guy's been playing week in, week out. Playing nearly every game of the Premier League.
Why don't we buy him 2 or 3 years ago? Why don't we get him 2 or 3 years ago?
Because they had Thomas Partey.
Well, exactly.
So you didn't need him.
So he's not an upgrade on Thomas Partey, is he?
Thomas Partey's leaving.
Is he an upgrade on Thomas Partey?
Zubimendi's the upgrade.
Well, you know what I mean?
Zubimendi. Thomas Partey was number 1. He's left.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is...
So now it's Zubimendi. Jorginho's left.
My ideal midfield would have been, and maybe I'm a little bit disappointed by this, would have been Zubimendi, yes, and Thomas Partey being the backup. Right, that would be.
Yeah, but it ain't going to happen, is it? Because of the weight, because of the. And to me, another.
I want to talk about wages. £15 million this is costing us.
Right.
In transfer, how much is Thomas Partey going to cost over 2 years?
Yeah, but then you got his wages on. You've got that, but then you got a player in 2 years' time that will leave for free.
Well, so will Norgard.
Well, you could sell Norgard, couldn't you?
What in 2 years' time?
They're going to sign it. He's going to sign to a contract.
How many years have we signed this Norgard on then? 3 years.
Well, I get it'll be a 3 years contract.
So why are you giving him a 3-year contract and
because he's obviously going to be on a lot less wages than Thomas Partey.
So it's all about. So it's about business then. It's about business.
Well, transfers are business.
It's about business then.
Transfers are business. If you got a player, right, now to sign. Remember how these deals go. So that's that.
I'm not worried about, but if this is great business and you're worried about the wage,
it's great business. And he's going to be a good player.
They've just turned around and said, they've just put your season ticket up and my season ticket up.
I know that. What do you want me to do?
But it's all right. They're saving money on wages, you know what I mean?
But listen, if they're saving money on wages, that means they can use those wages to go and get someone else, right? You know what I mean? Hopefully, that.
Yeah, but that's why I'm hopefully, Rob.
Well, why are you losing it? You don't know yet, do you?
I'm not losing it.
You've still got until the 1st of September.
I'm not 1st of September. Don't you come with me with that 1st of September,
We've still got till the 1st of September.
17th of August, right? Because I tell you what, our first 3 games, right, don't allow you that.
Yeah, all right.
Right?
17th of
So
August.
17th of August, I want to. Well, in fact, 19th of July, because that's when they go on tour.
They may not have everybody in by then.
Right. Oh, I get.
Have your main guys in by then. But listen.
January we didn't do nothing, Rob. Right.
I hear the frustration.
And I understand it. The frustration.
But to me, there's nothing wrong with that Norgard signing.
No, I'm not saying there isn't.
What are you moaning about?
No, I'm not moaning about it.
You are.
I am saying when people turn around and say it's good business,
it is.
It is. I am not here for I'm here to win trophies. Arsenal to win things.
Right, at the end
of the day, if Arsenal don't win nothing next season, right, I want you to turn around and go, that's all right. Give Mikel another 3-year contract because
that's a completely different argument.
It was good business.
That's a completely different argument. But I'm talking about.
We need to win something, Rob.
Of course, we need to win something, but good business is also essential as well in running a very good football club that's run right? Because you can go out and do bad business. Go and speak to United fans, and they'll talk to you all about bad business.
We're doing at the moment.
They'll talk to you about signings that when they made at the time, people are saying, "Oh wow, that looks brilliant," and it's turned out to be an absolute nightmare.
All the time about Man United.
It's
Man United have won 2 trophies in the last year. Like, throw that back at you.
Yeah, you think they're happy?
I don't care.
You think they're happy? Yeah. We'll go and ask them about last season.
Are we happy? Are Arsenal fans at this moment in happy?
No,
I'll tell you what, a lot of them are. What I'm seeing is because they're going on. It's great business what we've done. It's great business.
This is bad business.
All we've done. Right,
is it bad business?
I don't think it's good business. I don't think it's bad business. I'll tell you why. Yeah, okay. Because what we've done, Rob, right, is at this moment in time, and I'm not going to lose my head about it. At this moment in time, all we've done is replace. We've not strengthened, replace. We've replaced a goalkeeper, which is a good deal, by the way. We'll go on to that. We've replaced two midfield players that have left. Right? When are we going to strengthen? Not only the team...
Zubimendi's strengthening. Zubimendi was one of the most sought-after defensive midfielders.
Is he better than Partey? We don't know. I don't know.
We don't know,
there's an argument on that.
It's the same level. It's the same level of players.
We're replacing, but we've got to be making this team better.
Thomas Partey's a top player, right? But
is he better than Rodri?
But he's aging now, right? He's aging.
I get that.
Is any defensive midfielder right now better than Rodri?
I don't know. That's what we've got to do.
Exactly, we don't know.
We've got to get better than these teams.
Yeah, but then suppose they ain't better than Rodri. Then what do you go and do? You go and get the player.
I think Declan Rice.
You go and get the player that's perceived to be a player that can become either better than Rodri or as good as Rodri, which is Zubimendi.
Listen,
it's a great signing. And then Christian Norgard is not going to be your main guy. No, but you need these guys. You need these type of players, right? That are reliable, Premier League ready. Is going to be in there, a team player. You know what I mean? I look at that guy's stats. They're good. He scores a lot of goals. He's scored against us.
Apparently, he's good in the air.
Another player that's good in the air.
But my biggest question, right? And I think this needs to be answered. Can he play right back?
Well, hopefully he won't have to play right back.
Well, no, because that's part of your thing. It's part of your... Thomas Partey could play right back as well. What are we going to do without a right back next season?
But remember, he's not going to be... you keep forgetting, right? Norgard, if everybody's fit and playing at their best, won't be starting...
No, I get that. I get that. Like, right. But what I'm saying
I don't know what's wrong with us fans, right? No. We like to moan too much. Then if we say he didn't go and do something like that, we ain't got no strength in depth. What if this one gets... Other teams make these type of signings. I remember last year when Man City bought back Gundogan, everyone was saying, unbelievable business. Look what they've done. Look, he's an old player.
I remember
they bought him back for the same sort of reasons.
I remember when Man City bought Kovacic. Same sort of signing.
How old is he?
30 years of age, same sort of signing. But he wasn't one that... listen, I get that...
He weren't going to be the main guy. He only became the main guy because Rodri got injured.
I know, and I get that. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying, he wasn't a dial changer. But what I'm saying is that they've won titles. So it can get... We've got to somehow get over the line. Listen, this is my feeling. I've been very, very patient with Arsenal.
No, you're not. You're confusing me as well, right? Because a minute ago you said Kepa is going to be a good signing, right? But Kepa's not going to start. Kepa's in there for squad depth.
Kepa's
been bought for...
You need a backup goalkeeper.
Well, that's what this guy is. He's back up. No, Norgard is back up. It's the same like with Kepa. Kepa is a very good backup.
Backups, Rob. I want.
So how comes Kepa? So why is Kepa a good signing?
We are at the stage now.
Why is Kepa a good signing then?
Right, Kepa's a good signing because he's like a number 2 goalkeeper, and I think like when you look back at that, right? Then and hear me out on this. I think we had 2 number 1s, and it didn't work. I think it put pressure on Raya and it put pressure on Ramsdale. It didn't work. So now you got that 1 and 2. I think that's a good fit. And I think at the end of the day, a lot of people going about Chelsea reject and all that, like whatever. He had a very, very good season at Bournemouth last season. And I think at the end of the day, that's an improvement on Neto, by the way. So we've improved it. What you're saying there is a good point. Oh, we want backup. But I think we're at a stage now where I want rotation players. So like, I don't when it comes in. I want someone to come in there and be like for me. I want to see a game changer in there. I don't like someone that's so like, oh, if Odegaard ain't playing well, he comes in, you can rotate him, and you look at it and go, that's a pretty good side. Listen, Zubimendi and Declan Rice are injured, right? We've got to play. You're asking Norgard then to come into these big games, and that I'm not so sure.
The guy's played like week in, week out for Brentford, right? As I said, has great.
But why? So what? If he's that great, why has he still been at Brentford in his prime years? Why hasn't he gone to one of the big teams?
Well, he has now. And as a matter of fact, one of the reasons why Arsenal moved so quickly to get, because notice how that moves so quickly.
Yeah, I've got to say, that's impressive. Can't they move that quick on a striker?
Well, that's another matter. But I think one of the reasons why I moved so quickly for him, right, is obviously they would have got the drop off a party now that is, no deal's going to happen.
Well, that was done. It should have been sorted out months
They've been
ago,
negotiating. They've been still trying to get it done. There were these links to Norgard last week, right? Parties obviously said, listen, they've not been able to agree a new deal. They've moved quickly. The reason being because Spurs also wanted Norgard, because remember, Thomas Frank...
They wanted him last year or something.
They wanted him last year, but they were going to go for him hard now, right? Because obviously Thomas Frank is now their new manager, and that's like his rock player. You know what I mean? He was his captain at Brentford. That is why Arsenal have moved so quickly to get the Norgard deal done before Tottenham can come in and get him.
Why are they moving quick on the other fronts then?
Well, those are different. They're much more difficult deals to get done, innit? And Norgard's a little cheap deal.
You know what I mean? If Spurs come in for Gyökeres, we might happen then, like,
Well, there's a rumour that Liverpool are interested in Gyökeres.
All I'm saying is, I don't care what anybody says, right? This is my opinion, right? After what happened in January, I expect a little bit better than what we're doing at this moment in time. That doesn't mean to say that we're not going to do it.
Exactly. We have to hold up.
But at the end of the day, I personally think after what happened in January, Arsenal should have been bosh in there with the bit. Now, I get what you're saying to a certain degree. If we'd have signed Gyökeres, or we'd have signed Sesko, and we'd have signed Rodrigo, and then Norgard coming in then, I think fans would have gone, that's good.
I hear that. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's where it is a little bit.
I hear that. And to that extent, I said it the other day, that I feel that's been a big error on Arsenal's part in that they should have went out there, even if it was Zubimendi, and just announced that early or something, so that fans are like, all right, they're moving. But they haven't. They've taken like a while to get going. We've seen other teams signing players, City, Chelsea, Man United, and our fans, quite rightly so, they've been like, what's going on? So I understand that part, that when it's like Norgard now, you're like, all right, Norgard. It's not an exciting.
Arsenal,
it's not a signing that gets you excited.
But it makes sense. As it stands at the moment, right? It's like, and I get this. Fans go, it's good business, right? Let's say it is good. It's good business, like, you know what I mean? Good business, like an Arsenal fan or a supporter is saying, years ago you'd never say that. It's never about the business, right? But I get it is now, like, Where do you think Arsenal are coming in the league this year at this moment in time? Is it anything at that moment? There's those two signings.
No.
No, that's the thing.
No.
That is the thing. We need a signing that's going to just turn. Zubimendi, I think, is a great signing. I'm not saying it's not.
Now, then that's it. We move on now, right? It's all right them getting those done, and Kepa's going to get done, which you agree is a good signing.
Well, I don't see why people are. Can I ask a thing? I don't understand why. I try to be objective when I say things like, you know what I mean? Like, I understand why people are being a bit funny about Norgard. I understand why people want to protect it. The Kepa one, anybody that wants to slag that off, I can't understand it. I think it's great.
Great season last year.
Can I say it's great business? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? But because it improved, I think he'll come in cup games and all that. And if Raya gets injured. Yeah. I ain't going to be... Every time Raya went down last season, I was frightened. Remember that? What was the game when he...
Girona.
Was it Girona? And there was a thing that he
Neto
was...
played.
Yeah,
when
Neto
really,
played.
He was lucky he didn't get sent off.
Yeah, and there was a game, I think he had a thigh injury and there was all the doubt if he's going to be playing in the Premier League game. Where it was panic stations. Yeah. If that happens now, you know that Kepa's going to come in and do a job. Yeah. So I think that's good.
No, Kepa signing's a good signing. Norgard's a good signing. Zubimendi's excellent signing. But, of course... the one that we're all waiting and still don't seem to be much clearer on is what striker we're going to get. It seems obvious to me they're going to get a striker.
Is it?
Yeah, I think they'll get a striker.
Well, who do you think they're at? Someone said we're going to end up with Ollie Watkins. And I feel sorry for that. You know what I mean? It should be Ollie Watkins and someone else, by the way. I think he's a decent player.
I personally think it's... I still think Sesko's is the guy they want. Although I don't know,
I see what you were saying about the clause, right? Can we say about that? Is that not good business to have a clause in there? You know, Zubimendi we got on a clause. No,
but if you're a club like ours, so this release clause thing, which by the way, I think
Atletico have clauses in there.
I think you know, his representatives are sort of saying that there's a lot of fake news out there. So I don't know if this is fake news, right? But it's been reported widely that one of the sticking points in him coming to Arsenal is that he wants a release clause in his deal, right? Now, if you're a club like Arsenal, you don't buy no player with no release clause. I'm sorry. If a player turns around and says, right, I'm coming to Arsenal and I want... And the reported release clause was like 20% premium on whatever they pay for him. So if, say, they paid 70 million for him, that'd be like, another 14 million on top. Yeah? That you'd be able to... No, 28 million? Am I right? Maths? Yeah, you guys work it out. But listen, that would mean, right, that somebody could come in for under 100 million and get him. No, you can't buy a player like that. You just turn around and say, forget it.
Haaland had that when he came to Man City. They've took that out of his new contract, though, but he did have it in his contract.
Well, I'm not... To me,
so you wouldn't have signed Haaland then if that was on that
What was his release contract? I think his was 200 million or something like that.
I don't know. It was like... I think it was about 100 or something like that. But then what he's done, and now he's signed this big deal... They've took that out, haven't they?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
So you wouldn't have signed Haaland with under. No,
Haaland's a different. Haaland might be a bit different because Haaland's elite already. He's coming in as an elite striker with a ridiculous goal scoring record, and he's still only like 20, 21 when they signed him, right? Sesko is still a prospect for me, right? And
I get that.
If you're coming in and you're saying release clause, right? Especially when you got a choice of Gyökeres, I would move on immediately and say, well, you know what? No, because if you're coming to sign for Arsenal, you're coming to sign for Arsenal, and we want you here. If we're signing you for 3 years, we want you here for 3 years. That is our ambition, is to have you for 3 years, not you're here after a year. Real Madrid, which is apparently the team he dreams of playing for one day, come in and say, actually, we'll meet that release clause, and then all of a sudden there's big war over whether you're staying or going and stuff like that. No chance.
Well, were these questions that could have been asked and sorted out in January?
As I said, we don't know if this is true.
But these conversations must have happened in January for us to turn around and say...
Well, no. Well,
we ain't signing no one in January.
They're negotiating with him at the moment, isn't it? So
why didn't Arsenal sign no one in January?
Well, listen, you asking me. I wanted us to sign someone in January. I was mad that we didn't sign anyone.
You can see why Arsenal fans have copped the ump about this.
No, of course. And they must get this striker thing right. They must sign a striker. The fact that they didn't get one in January, they must. If they don't, people need to be fired. Simple as that. Whether it be the manager, sporting director, they didn't get a striker this summer, people need to leave. They have to. And I think they will. So it's between Sesko and Gyökeres. As I said, that was widely reported. Although, I think his representatives are trying to claim that this is all fake news, right? We don't know. We're not. At the end of the day, none of us are there when these negotiations are going on, right? But they're definitely negotiating with him and they're negotiating with Gyökeres. It's who they get. You know what? Every week we ask this question. Who do you want to get?
I would probably... It's a difficult one, isn't it? Like, I'd go for Gyökeres because we need someone now. But I think long term, I think Sesko's the better option.
I'm still Gyökeres,
But
I know
what happens with Havertz then, like, and people go, "Oh, what happens with Havertz?" This is Mikel. Mikel likes Havertz.
What happens with Havertz? What?
Well, this is what I'm saying.
Competition, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
it's competition.
It can't be a better.
I think that's why as well, right? So a lot of people keep saying things like, and listen, I've said it already. If we get Sesko, I'm happy with that as well. I'll take Sesko.
But I think that suits Arteta because he still wants to keep Havertz in certain. I think in certain games. I think against Man City's, Liverpool's, those sort of stuff, I think Havertz will start in those games.
You reckon?
Yeah. Because if you look at those games, Arsenal have always done well in those games with Havertz in there. It's the other games where we don't.
What if you've got a better player, but a better, more clinical striker in there? As I said, with the Sesko thing, a lot of people say with Sesko, they're like, he suits how we play more, he's got more all-round game, stuff like that. And I hear that, and it's probably true. But I kind of like the fact that Gyökeres doesn't 100% suit how we play.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And is a bit of a disruption and someone different. Because I'm just like, does every single player have to be that suit? I kind of want a guy that's going to come in and be different. A guy that's going to be, when the ball comes in that box, he's just there. He's just a guy that sort of causes us to make a few adjustments to that way we've played. Is a bit of a disruptor. I kind of would like to see that.
I'm with you on that.
And Gyökeres' goal-scoring record, I still can't ignore those goals that he scored. It's phenomenal.
I'm with you. I just think at the end of the day, when we talk about like moving the needle, I think at the end of the day, Sesko moves it, but not a lot. I think Gyökeres does.
Because his goal-scoring record...
He's a goal scorer.
It's unbelievable. He really wants to come. You can see he's desperate to come. I mean, the talk is he's willing to go and strike right now. He's already told Sporting, I ain't playing again. He's really upset that they, with the price that they pushed the price, because he's desperate to come to Arsenal. Yeah,
went against the his agreement. Do you remember do you remember there was this similar sort of thing with Harry Kane?
Yeah, but he shook on it.
Yeah.
Shook on it with Daniel Levy.
Yeah, and then like when it comes about, they so it just shows you don't have a gentleman's agreement, doesn't it? Like, you know what I mean? It means it means nothing, like, So I think that at the end of the day, that, I think that, I think Gyökeres. I call Djokovic, whatever his name is.
Gyökeres.
I think Gyökeres is the. I think
you get Djokovic, you've got to win.
Yeah, we've got to win a few times. I just think at the end of the day, just may be the thing that just moves the dial for us that little bit more. I
think if
we're not far off from being a good team.
I think Gyökeres, if he comes in, he's so desperate to play for Arsenal, so desperate to score goals, and he'd be so desperate to prove people that, listen, what I did in Portugal is not a fluke. That will be good for Arsenal. But listen, if it's not him and it's Sesko, then I'll take Sesko. You know what I mean? Like,
they've got to sign some because, someone said to me the other day, which is true, what was the last striker we signed?
Aubameyang.
Well, Jesus, when it really was the last one.
To me, I don't even look at Jesus. Even when Jesus was at City, was he a striker really?
Well, there's an argument for it. Like,
he weren't an out-and-out striker. He played out on the right most of the time. He's like what you call a second striker. I'm on about an out striker. And at the end, the last one was Aubameyang.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, when you go back to Jesus. Jesus has been here 3 years. He's probably missed a year, and I feel sorry for him.
He missed 2 years, really.
Probably 2. He's missed more football than he's played. Yeah. You know what I mean? Unfortunate, you know what I mean? And there was a thing going around yesterday. I don't know if you've seen it, like, you know what I mean, of all Mikel's signings, hits or misses and all that, like, you know, and you know, there's a lot of misses in there, like, you know,
a lot of hits as well. Huh?
There's a few hits in there, but a lot of misses. And like Jesus is one of those ones that it is a miss.
It's a miss. It started off as a big hit.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was a big hit.
Like the injuries have just done it.
It's just so unfortunate on injuries. Yeah. Just so unfortunate on injuries.
Also, though, we can't stop there for me, right? Because we need a left winger. And I want to see Arsenal go out there and push the boat out to get Rodrigo as well. That's why I'm looking on it. And only time will tell. But if they've said to themselves, right, you know what? Let Partey go. He's on 200 grand a week. Bring in Norgard in. He'll probably be on, probably less than 100. He'll probably be on there. Right? Bring him in. That frees up a load of wages so we can go after a big, expensive signing like a Rodrigo. To me, I'm looking at two left wingers out there. Rodrigo, Rafa Leao. I want to see Arsenal go and get one of them two as well. I think we need to get one of them two. I really do. I don't want us to just stop it. If we get a striker, yeah.
Well,
for me, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see it done. This is where I say the other one now, that left winger, which might be difficult to do. If they took till the 1st of September to get that, I don't mind, but they must get. To me, if you get a Rodrigo in or a Rafa Leao in, that is a dial mover. If you've got now a front three, say for instance, right? Saka, Gyökeres or Sesko, Rafa Leao or Rodrigo, that is scary. You look at it as an opposition, you're like, phew. That's a serious front three, man. Then if any of them get, Saka comes off, Waineri's coming on. If Rafa Leao or Rodrigo comes off, Martinelli's coming on. Still got a hard ride, right? Striker-wise, if Gyökeres or Sesko thing, they still got Havertz. All of a sudden, you become potent up front. You got options. It's what Liverpool had last year. It's why one of the big reasons why they won the league.
Yeah, we haven't got that.
They had Salah, right? Obviously, Salah was the main man, which is the Saka is for us, right? Then they had options. They had like the options of Jota. What's the name? Luis.
Yeah, Diaz.
Diaz. Apologies. Diaz. Yeah?
Nunes.
Gakpo. Nunes. So if one of them didn't work, pull him off. Another one comes on. Firepower. Bang, bang, bang. They're just hitting you all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, we didn't have, the only guy we had was Trossard. And you added on to that injuries to all the players anyway. We had zero options, really. This season, we need options.
Yeah.
Defending, solid. That's why I even think that Norgard's a good signing, because that's another guy who can shield that, because that's his speciality. He's different to Partey. Where Partey can pick the ball up, carry it, he's not really that type of player. He's more like a Jorginho, sit there, shield thing. I've seen that Zubimendi play. He can do what Partey does. He can pick the ball up, drive with it, he can shield, he can do all of it, right? All round. Defence, we're good. Midfield now, with the defensive midfielder part, that's looking good. It's the attack. So whether it be attacking midfield or whether it just be the front three. And to me, concentrate on that front line, man. Striker, left winger of the highest quality. Go big in those areas. I don't mind the Norgards, and you need players. You need your bog standard players. But
100%.
where I would go with you on the Norgard thing is if we don't say, because to me, that left winger needs to come in as well. If we don't get that left winger, that's the one I'm going to be keeping the closest eye on this summer. Because to me, I do think we're going to get a striker. I really do.
So like you're saying, like,
I'm keeping a close eye that left wing position. We need a top quality left winger, a guy that offers the same threats as what we have on that right hand side, because that's what we've lacked. So teams can treble up on Saka because they go, yeah, they ain't really got a striker. and they ain't really got someone that effective. Let's concentrate over on this right-hand side. And actually, when we sit down and we do the analysis of Arsenal, nearly everything goes through the right. We see it when we go to games.
Yeah.
You know, Odegaard gets the ball. Who's he looking for straight away? Saka. No, we need someone. We need it so when Odegaard gets that ball, he's looking, he's got options both.
Yeah.
And then when a defender's tired, absolutely knackered from having to deal with Rodrigo all afternoon, on comes Martinelli to run him ragged. That's what Arsenal lacked last season.
And that's a great point, is that also it releases Saka a little bit, because, if you have got Gyökeres in the middle of the goal, you're going to go, right, we'll leave him free to get the players out on Saka. All of a sudden, he's going to have a field day in there, isn't he? So they ain't going to be able to do that. So they put defender on him. Saka's then only got one-on-one.
Yeah.
So,
we're too reliant on Saka.
We're too reliant on...
Right, and all the top teams, right, have got options, right? The top teams... I thought that last year, say, for instance, City, they were too reliant on Haaland. So after a while, when he went a bit quiet, they weren't really, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, but Liverpool, they had options. When you look at some of the top teams around Europe, you took a team like Real Madrid, look at the options they've got up front.
Yeah.
They can kill you. This
Barcelona got it, haven't they?
PSG, the options they've got. And they weren't necessarily, all right, they didn't really have a striker, but they had so many options, man, like Barcola, Doué, they brought in Kvaratskhelia on that left-hand side. All of a sudden, just constant threats, man. Like, it's hard to live with. We've got the foundations there, but it's up front.
When is this striker, and when do you think this striker?
I feel
July the 1st, or
I feel they'll bring in that striker before the pre-season.
You firmly believe that?
Yeah. I don't know why I'm sticking my neck on the line for these lot, right? Because
you're saying the winger.
I said in January that I was convinced they were going to sign someone, and they didn't, right? But I do feel that from what I've heard, they're going to get a striker in before. Do you think pre-season? Do
you think the strategy will be like, well, we'll get the striker, the wide player if it comes. We can wait. See, there might be some movement in the market that could open up or whatever. So they'll sit and wait for that one.
I seriously think that's what's going to happen. They're going to get the striker. They've got Zubimendi in. Now they've got Norgard. I think they've had to move. I think that Norgard's an unexpected thing they've had to do because maybe they was hoping that Partey would stay, right? And they've got in the backup goalkeeper in Kepa, right? But they need that striker now. And then they go to pre-season. Because remember as well, like all of those players like your Havertz and all that, they're going to be fit now for that pre-season.
Right, so what happens, right? What happens which might happen, Zinchenko goes? Do we bring in someone to replace Zinchenko?
Well, they've got Mars Lewis-Skelly and they've got Calafiori, right? And they've been looking at this Joel Hato. At Ajax. Again, I think that's one of them ones that they will negotiate throughout the window. There's no rush on that, innit? You know what I mean?
Because my big worry is, and is what we're doing at the moment is replace. What we've got to do, somewhere along the line, we've got to strengthen. Also depth-wise as well, because last season in the Champions League semi-final, we had 4 players on the bench that had never played for Arsenal and never will play for Arsenal.
A lot of that was injuries, wasn't it?
Yeah, all right. But injuries are going to happen, Rob.
Yeah. But I do think they are strengthening depth-wise, right? But I think the concentration before pre-season is going to be to get that striker in. Get him in so he gets a full pre-season with the team, gets to know the
I think that's so important.
Then I feel the left winger, because if it is, say, Rodrigo, yeah, that ain't going to be an easy deal to get done. That ain't going to be quick to get done. That's going to last because already, like even they was talking to Xavi Alonso and he was saying that, Rodrigo's still important. But at the end of the day, you only have to see what's going on there. He's not the main guy there. Like he's going to have the same issues he had last season, which is they brought Mbappe in now. Mbappe plays on the left, Vinicius Junior's on the right, and then down the middle, they say Mbappe plays down the middle, but
he's not happening there.
He's mainly on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side. He's not starting. You've got Bellingham, you know what I mean? They've got so much firepower. They've got Arda Güler,
They need a proper centre forward though, Real Madrid. I think.
Yeah, but they score lots of goals, innit? So maybe they're looking at it and thinking they've got Brahim Diaz, they've got all these goal scorers. So he may opt to stay, right? He says he's happy there, but then it could be a thing that there could be factors in that where it might be like, well, shall we let him go? We're going to get like 70, 80 million. Well, they get like 80 million for him, which would be a huge fee for Real Madrid. He as a player might look on it and think to himself, oh, you know, Brazil World Cup year, I need to be playing. I ain't going to get in that Brazil squad for the World Cup. That's a factor for a lot of players.
Martinelli might take his place.
Martinelli's, you know, in the team at the moment, right? So that could be factors for him, right? Then you got a player like a Rafa Leao who's like, I mean, see this guy wearing Thierry Henry t-shirts and stuff like that, right? Is he sort of, you know, looking up? The talk is he would like to move. You got Bayern Munich who are looking for a left winger as well. They're interested. I think that those sort of deals for that left winger, they're not going to be easy to get done. They're going to take a lot of negotiating. There
ain't a lot out there though, is there? We were talking about like on the wide areas, you can say that, or the centre forward in particular. There ain't a lot out there.
No, it's not. I think centre forward, there's options, but none of them. Yeah, it's weird, right? Because when you look at the centre forwards, you got two players. You got a player in Ollie Watkins, but he's knocking on a bit. If he'd have been like 25.
Yeah, he'd be
like an ideal signing, wouldn't he? But he's coming on to 30 now. You got Gyökeres, who people are looking at his age, but he's only 27, and he only just turned 27. People need to remember that as well. He just turned 27 in July. So really, you know, he's still. I still class him as he's in his prime.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, if you make a big investment in him and in 3 years' time he's 30, but I don't see that as bad. You got Victor Osimhen. I think he's 26, but then he's after humongous wages, and that's what's putting off loads and loads of teams, right? And then you got Sesko, who is young, could be the next big thing, could be like a sort of signing like how when Newcastle bought in, you know, Isak, but then you're taking a chance. You don't know for sure. And then after that, I don't really know what strikers are out there of the...
Vlahovic at Juventus, and that's all...
Vlahovic, but he's had a couple of really poor seasons.
If you'd have to look at that and go, that was been a poor move for him.
I was watching the Club World Cup the other day, and I noticed that the commentators, when they were talking about him, they were saying that, you know, he misses a lot of chances.
Yeah, I see that.
You don't want that, do you?
No.
So there's not a lot out there.
No, there ain't a lot out there.
There's not a lot of like...
And that's why you got like, you know, Barcelona have still got Lewandowski, haven't they? Like, because of, you know... Still
scoring goals as well, by the way, which shows you... People keep going on about age of Gyökeres, right? But how old is Lewandowski, and how old is Harry Kane?
Yeah.
And those guys are still the top scorers of banging in the goals.
So
even in this country, Ollie Watkins is still banging in the goals.
So age shouldn't be a worry, should it?
I don't think so. I think as long as the player's fit. Look at how old is Salah? He's still banging in the goals.
That's a great point.
This thing about people keep going on about, age, ceilings and all that. I want a guy that's going to come and score goals now. And this guy's 27. That ain't an old age pensioner, is it?
Nah.
And he can come in and, you know, so as I said, look at all those guys that we've just mentioned. They ain't young. Right across Europe, as a matter of fact. A lot of times when you look at them strikers, they're like, you know, they're in their prime and it's still...
Ronaldo and Messi are still...
Ronaldo.
You know what I mean? So...
Guy's 40. The other day at those, you know, in the final.
Nations League. It was
Nations League. Semi-final, final. Who scored? Him.
Yeah.
40 years old. My case is rested.
Rested, like. I mean, so
I'm still in the Gyökeres camp.
Yeah, I think like
I'm still in his camp.
I'm leaning towards that. Like,
although I do think they'll get Sesko. But I would like to see...
I love your optimism and all that about transfer. I actually ain't got no faith in Arsenal's transfer. No more.
Who said I've got faith in it? I was just saying that they're going to get a striker before.
You know what I mean? You said that in January. And
no, I didn't say they get a striker. I said they get a signing. I was bold.
I have to say, I look back at January. I think that was the breaking point for me.
Yeah, it was horrendous.
Do you know, when I look back at, we was talking about this, like with Arsene Wenger and all that, like, he like. At the minute, everybody's still backing Arteta, and rightly so, and whatever, like, But by this time now, everybody had sort of gone for Arsene Wenger had gone, like, And it was the tipping point for me with Arsene Wenger was when we only signed Petr Cech. That was just that season. Yeah. That done it for me.
Put himself under a lot of pressure.
Put himself under a lot of pressure, and that was the turning point for.
And then remember, he used to do the same sort of thing as what we've seen with Arteta, right? In that. It never used to be the striker, defensive midfielder.
Yeah.
Everybody used to say, if we go and get a defensive midfielder, and he just wouldn't do it. He refused. He's stubborn.
We had he had two midfielders that day. Was Arteta and Coquelin were his two holding midfield players. And we said, if anything happens to them, I don't know if you remember the game, West Brom away, but he lost both of them.
Both of them, yeah.
We lost both of them. And that was that. We had nothing, and. We turned around and I think we signed Flamini, didn't we, on a free transfer? Yeah. But that was the day that then, for me, Arsene Wenger, like,
yeah.
And I will look back at it. If things don't happen in
similarities.
January, because I've always been, even now, I've always been like, nah, we've done well to get second. It's keep believing it and all that. But after that January.
Yeah,
my total head loss now. I've got. They have to deliver the bigger now.
Yeah, Arsenal need a big transfer window, and I think they're under pressure. Mikel Arteta in particular is under pressure this transfer window, right? And it's for two reasons. Number one, what happened in January, right? So we all want to see big signings, but also when you look at what Liverpool have been doing in particular. Remember, Liverpool, they didn't buy no one last year, but this year, some of those signings they've made, they're impressive.
Well, they've improved every...
Yeah.
They've improved.
Kirkes, impressive signing, right? So is Frimpong. That's the difference between them and us. They moved immediately to replace Trent because they knew that their fans were happy about what had gone on with Trent.
It looks like they've got a plan. This looks like they know exactly what they're doing.
That signing of Frimpong, the first signing, was strategic because they knew that fans are going to be upset about what's going on with Trent. They're like, Trent's gone, but we've got a right back straight away. And this guy won the league with Leverkusen and this, that.
Yeah.
Immediately, no fans talking about it. They're sort of like, if anything, they're more like, Trent, go. We're fed up with you now, all the thing, go. They squashed all that. With us, we haven't done that. What they should have done was move quickly to get a striker in. Or move quickly to.
I couldn't agree more.
And they haven't done that. And then now you just got this perception of them dithering around. Oh, what are you doing? Are you getting your careers or are you getting Sesko? I'm sure you get it because I get it every time I walk down the street.
It's
people coming up to you, Robbie, what are they doing?
What's happening? Who we signing?
Knowing us, we'll get none.
Yeah,
that's the thing. We'll go, or knowing us, we'll be looking at Sesko, we'll be looking at Gyökeres. They'll both get stolen, and then we'll end up with Ollie Watkins or someone even worse. And they could have avoided that by moving decisively, knowing who they're going to get, just getting him in early, and then that would have killed that. And then people would be looking forward now. Norgard people university would be saying makes sense, but because we haven't done that, that's what's caused this, and
it is because of what's happened in January, Rob. I'm saying because
January was terrible.
I believe if we'd have signed someone in January, just say we'd have signed Ollie Watkins in January. And we're now in for Sesko. There wouldn't be like that much pressure. Like there would be pressure on it, but we go, oh well.
No, January, you're right. It's given. They've got no excuses whatsoever. You spent no money in January, right? You brought no one in. You've obviously thought to yourself, right? We're not going to bring no one in because we're going to wait till the summer. Now the summer's here now. We need to see big. I won't be just satisfied with
one.
With Gyökeres and Norgard and Zubimendi, and I need that big, and that left winger. I want that to be a superstar signing.
What you're saying now is you want two standout signings.
I think Zubimendi's a standout. But because of what's gone on in January, we're not even looking at that as a standout. But I want 2 absolute killers to come in. One's a striker and one's a left winger. Yeah, and if we don't get that, I'm going to be disappointed.
I'll be happy with a striker and a left-sided. If you said to me, like, we're getting Sesko or Gyökeres, or we're getting something, and also someone like Morgan Rogers, I would take that, because I think Morgan Rogers can play.
Yeah, well, I'd be happy. I'd be happy with Gyökeres, and my perfect would be Gyökeres, Rodrigo, or Rafael.
Well, I'm not happy unless we get 2 as well.
Right. Well, we'll see.
And then it'll be good business.
You can find out who, and all the rumours of that by watching Transfer Daily.
Someone said to me yesterday, this dude, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't watch Robbie because I want to end up killing him. Like,
I don't know why people want to kill me. Right, all I'm doing is giving the information.
That's all. I did say he just gives out the information.
Check out the show, the breaking numbers.
Unbelievable.
It's absolutely unbelievable, right? So make sure
everybody loves the transfers, don't they? Like, you talk about transfer. And I'm in the minority. I can't stand it. Like,
everyone loves a transfer.
They love it, don't they? Yeah. Can't get enough of it.
Yeah. It's the new world of football. New world of football. Look at Fabrizio. Fabrizio Romano's got 21 million followers on Twitter, or X, what you want to call it now. He's absolutely incredible, and just from doing transfer rumours, he's big business.
Yeah, unbelievable. Good luck to them.
Anyway, listen. Thanks, Lee.
I enjoyed that.
We'll be back next week. Of course, as you want to check out anything to do with transfers, it's Transfer Daily, talking transfers as well. Here on AFTV, so make sure you subscribe and don't miss a thing. And thank you very much. We'll be back next week. The Invincible podcast. Myself, Robbie, and Lee Judges come together once a week to discuss all things Arsenal. Straight talking, considered discussion, brought to you by the fans of the only club in Football League history to go invincible.